Hi, and welcome to State of Events. I'm Vanessa Navarez.
And I'm Suzette Reynoso. The futuristic vision for a high-speed rail in California is off to a slow start. We have Kaylee live in the studio with more details on why.
The plan for a high-speed rail in California has encountered many bumps in the tracks since the statewide ballot measure passed in 2008. Most recently, it is now estimated that the time to travel from here in San Francisco to Los Angeles will be over an hour and a half longer than what California voters were promised in 2008. This broken promise has led to a lawsuit filed against the California High-Speed Rail Authority, claiming misleading voters. This most recent lawsuit, however, is not the only lawsuit filed against the Rail Authority. A Sacramento judge has ruled that the financing plan for the high-speed rail is insufficient in funds. And on a more personal level, business owners and homeowners are both affected by the route of the high-speed rail. Aaron Fukuda currently lives in Hanford, California. He and his wife plan to build their dream home on their country property, until the high-speed rail route was mapped right through where their house would stand. I was able to get a phone interview with Aaron, and his frustrations were obvious.
The opposition, especially from where I stand, is that with the plans that they're pursuing, those cannot and will not be achieved. And so if they can't be achieved, should we be redirecting our focus on something that is achievable? I'm not offering an alternative, simply saying that why should we venture on something that is unobtainable by this group of people?
Governor Jerry Brown is a central advocate for the rail, but the important question still remains unanswered. Will the high-speed rail be what it was originally promised to California voters in 2008? This is Kaylee Hendricks, back to you in the studio.
Employers may soon be paying for their employees to commute to work with public transportation. Employers with 50 or more full-time employees in all 9 Bay Area counties are required to offer commuter benefits to their workers. The Bay Area Commuter Benefits Program was developed by the Metropolitan Transportation Commission and the Bay Area Quality Management in response to a state law that went into effect 2 years ago. Employers can choose from one of 4 options for their employees. They must implement the program by September 13th.
And much attention has been placed on the Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, but the cause of the separate airplane's demise may now be known. Asiana Airlines is concluding that the Boeing 777 crashed due to bad software. The airlines say that the system did not warn the crew of low airspeed quick enough. The report to the NTSB also fault the pilots. Asiana says that the crew should have noticed how low the aircraft was to the ground. The Asiana plane crashed while landing at San Francisco International Airport last July. 3 people died and more than 180 were injured. The Boeing manufacturers released its own report to the NTSB. Boeing is laying full blame for the crash on the pilots and crew.
General Motors is admitting they knew their cars had faulty ignition switches for a decade, but didn't start recalling its 2.6 million Cobalt ions and other compact cars until February 2014. Their faulty ignitions turn off on their own, causing the car to lose power steering and brake control. The loss of power also stops the airbags from deploying. GM linked 13 deaths to the problem, but media reports say the number is as high as 29. The AP reports the majority of those killed are under the age of 25. A bank in Georgia is looking for its money after an 18-year-old spent $25,000 that was accidentally deposited into his account. Once he saw his new balance, the teen reportedly withdrew $20,000 in cash. He also spent $5,000 using his ATM card. Police say the man who deposited the money has the same name as the teen. which caused the teller to switch up the accounts. The teen told authorities that he would go back to the bank to settle the matter. But the teen hasn't returned to the bank, and officials say they will persecute if he doesn't return the money.
And a hospital in San Francisco is warning its patients that they may have been exposed to HIV while in surgery. California Pacific Medical Center in San Francisco failed to fully sterilize medical equipment from July 2010 to February 2014. As a precaution, letters were sent to nearly 200 patients at risk and asked them to get tested for blood-borne diseases such as hepatitis and HIV. Patients included adults and children. The California Department of Public Health is investigating.
2 women were arrested after police say they found their 3 children abused and starved in their Salinas home. Erica Craig and Christian Deanda were arrested last week and charged with 1 count each of felony child abuse and neglect. The couple's children ages 3, 5, and 8 were removed from the couple's home and placed in protective care. Monterey County Sheriff's deputies say the 8-year-old girl had to be hospitalized for several days for malnourishment and other issues. Reports claim the children were starving and the girl weighed 40 pounds and had been chained to the wall to keep them from getting food. A Monterey court judge ordered bail to be raised to $500,000 each for the 2 Salinas women.
And a California man remains missing a day after he was swept out of sea during an ocean baptism. Benito Flores was among several people helping a pastor baptize a man north of Santa Barbara. 2 others were swept out by a huge wave, but were able to swim to shore. The U.S. Coast Guard says a search was called off at midnight on Sunday. And Bitcoin is called the money of the future, but companies have lost millions of dollars to thieves and account attacks. State of Events Austin Stanley set out to dig up how it works.
Chances are, by now, you've heard of Bitcoin. You may have even seen the logo next to credit card stickers in storefront windows. But what is it?
Bitcoin is the world's first cryptocurrency. It's a way for people to transfer funds digitally between each other without any kind of intermediary or anything like that.
Cryptocurrencies are like a form of money that lives on the internet. They have value and can be exchanged for dollars like a peso or euro. You can earn pieces of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin by solving complicated math problems for the community of Bitcoin users, or you can give someone who has Bitcoins real money and they can transfer that amount worth of Bitcoins into what's called a wallet. Wallets are usually in the form of apps on someone's phone. Once you have Bitcoin, buying things becomes much more familiar.
Bitcoin is kind of like a credit card, but without the actual, card. It's like just the number, and it's a really long number, one that you really wouldn't want to type in.
I downloaded one of these wallets and did a transaction in Buyer's Best Friend's mercantile store on Haight Street to show you how it works.
To pay, what they're going to do is they're going to generate a QR code, or those little black squares that you see sometimes posted outside of buildings. What that's going to do is I'm going to scan it using my phone, enter how many Bitcoins I owe them, and then a third-party service will take that amount of Bitcoins off.
But like real money, Bitcoin is susceptible to thieves. Through a process called transaction malleability, a user can overload Bitcoin servers with requests and exchange the same number of Bitcoins for money twice.
For instance, Mt. Gox, which was the biggest Bitcoin exchange, says that they were the victim of a transaction malleability attack that cost them hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins, basically hundreds of millions of dollars.
And although you may have used real money to buy your Bitcoins, there's no punishment for someone stealing them.
I don't trust that many people in the Bitcoin environment because there's no consequences if you run off with a whole bunch of Bitcoins.
In San Francisco, Austin Stanley, State of Events.
Coming up, the worst outbreak in decades. Find out which African nation is suffering from Ebola. And the latest details on the Washington State mudslide. Stay tuned.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride. First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Caught up in corruption, Senator Leland Yee is being charged along with 25 others in a federal corruption case that's making national headlines. The California senator voted 26-1 to suspend Senator Leland Yee with pay. Yee represents San Francisco and San Mateo. The charges against Yee include alleged gun trafficking and conspiracy to commit murder. Although he dropped out of the race for Secretary of State and is suspended, Yee will not quit the Senate.
And the FBI searched Senator Leland Yee's aide's office 1 week after Yee was arrested. They searched the 5th floor of the legislative office building located across from the Capitol in Sacramento. Senate spokesman Mark Hedlund said they informed the FBI of the rarely used office because authorities were unaware of the office. The FBI entered the office with a warrant, but Hedlund said nothing was taken.
And one South Bay candidate is trying to avoid accepting any donations in the upcoming election. Republican Joel Van Landingham is the newest South Bay candidate for U.S. Congress. The Republican is telling supporters to give the money to charity instead of his candidacy. He is up against some heavy-handed competitors. Former Obama Representative Ro Khanna reported having $2 million for the race.
24 people are dead and 22 still missing after a landslide devastated a small Washington town. Authorities expect the death toll to rise as the search continues. Search dogs are combing the 300 acres of debris for remains. Searchers are facing toxic conditions like exposure to gas, household chemicals, and debris up to 70 feet deep. The state's governor estimates there are $10 million in damages. Search teams are hoping for a miracle to find more survivors. It's Washington's deadliest natural disaster since Mount St. Helens erupted.
And New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has said that the scandal involving the planned traffic jam on a busy bridge to New York City has hurt his standing. But Mr. Christie, who is front runner for the 2016 presidential nomination, said his decreasing poll numbers were not permanent. Public documents have indicated the incident was orchestrated by Mr. Christie's aides. Christie then fired his deputy chief of staff, Bridget Kelly, for her role in the matter. David Sampson, the senior transportation official, has resigned over the September incident and has cleared Christie of the allegations. During a news conference last week, Christie would not say whether he plans on running for president.
Washington Mayor Vincent Gray signed into law Monday a bill that decriminalizes marijuana possession of an ounce or less in D.C. Possession of pot, which was previously a misdemeanor, will now be a civil violation under the law and draw a penalty of $25.
For a look what's going around the world, Talia Samelia is here with us with the World Update.
Thank you, Suzette. Russian President Vladimir Putin is potentially easing a diplomatic standoff with the West. On Monday, he spoke with German Chancellor Angela Merkel by phone. According to her office, Putin has ordered a partial withdrawal of Russian troops along Ukraine's eastern border, a possible sign that the threat of military incursion has faded. U.S. officials estimate that Russia had amassed nearly 40,000 troops along its border with eastern Ukraine, But on Monday, a Russian defense military spokesman said at least one battalion was being called back. Despite the reduced troop levels, there's no evidence that Russia is ready to back down entirely. Moving over to the east now, we have a flare-up of animosity between North and South Korea. According to Al Jazeera, North Korea has threatened to carry out a new form of nuclear testing. A day after the announcement, North Korea engaged in live fire exercises near its disputed maritime border with South Korea, resulting in an exchange of fire between the neighboring countries. A South Korean Defense Ministry spokesman has confirmed that North Korea fired 100 shells that fell south of the northern limit line, forcing residents of 5 frontline South Korean islands to evacuate to shelters for several hours. South Korea responded by firing about 300 artillery shells into North Korean waters. Authorities in the West African nation of Guinea are facing an unprecedented epidemic of Ebola. According to Doctors Without Borders, the disease has a wide-ranging geographical spread, making the disease difficult to contain. The death toll in Guinea has climbed to 78 people. The outbreak is the first of its kind in West Africa in 2 decades. It has spooked a number of neighboring governments with weak health systems. Senegal has closed its border with Guinea. Other countries are restricting travel and cross-border exchanges. There is no vaccine and no known cure for Ebola. And that's the World Update. I'm Talia Samalian. Back to you.
Coming up, we'll give you an up-close look at street performers in San Francisco. And 3D printing a body part? It's a possibility. We'll tell you about it after the break.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Turning to the world of tech, Kyle Nitschke is with us live in the studio to tell us what's new. Kyle?
Thank you, Vanessa. 3D printing is the future of production for several industries. The technology is mainly used for architecture, industrial design, and engineering. But now the medical field is applying 3D printing to the operating room. A 22-year-old woman suffering from a condition that causes thickening of her skull had her skull replaced with a 3D printed version. The prosthesis implant is not new to the medical field. However, a custom 3D printed model is. Dr. Verweij and his team at the University Medical Center in Utrecht performed the procedure and stated that the 3D printed components have better advantages and potential to give patients better brain function than the conventional methods. The surgery is the first of its kind, and the patient recovered with no complaints. Also, Mark Zuckerberg recently pictured the viewing platform for video games, Oculus Rift, for a cool $2 billion. Oculus Rift is a virtual reality head-mounted display primarily created for the virtual game. The gadget allows the user to explore a complete virtual environment, but now you can soon play the newest video game and share adventures and experiences with your Facebook friends. The new tech aims to unite people in a type of live television to connect in events that you maybe wouldn't get to experience otherwise. The technology will be released later this year. Also, Google Glass isn't the only high-tech fashion trend to hit the streets soon. Wearable technology is on the rise, and upcoming fashion innovators are creating hot new trends soon, so you can be wearing a shirt with a solar-powered phone charger, and also creates Wi-Fi hotspot for you, and check the time on your smartwatch that monitors your fitness and health, which matches your iPhone connected jewelry, complete with Bluetooth ring that helps you navigate your device wirelessly. These are just a few items to come this year, and chances are you're wearing some of them already.
And up next, that 70s baby. We'll tell you about the famous couple from that 70s show that's now expecting. And a 49er player hit a bicyclist and tried to flee. The details next.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
49ers cornerback Chris Culliver is in hot water again, this time not for his anti-gay comments, but for an arrest on several charges. Culliver hit a bicyclist and left the scene in San Jose. A witness followed his car and cornered him in an attempt to stop him from fleeing. That is when the witness said Culliver got out of his car, threatened the witness with brass knuckles, and sped off, hitting the witness's car. Culliver was arrested for felony hit and run, reckless driving, and weapon charges.
And Victoria Alanis is with us live to tell us about the newest celebrity gossip. Hi, Victoria.
Hey, Suzette. So this week, comedian Stephen Colbert is feeling the heat from someone else's tweet. After Washington Redskins owner Dan Snyder announced the Washington Redskins Original Americans Foundation, Colbert poked fun due to the fact that Snyder refuses to change the team's controversial name. The tweet, sent out to 1 million followers, read, "I'm willing to show #Asian community I care by introducing the Ching Chong Ding Dong Foundation for sensitivity to Orientals," or whatever. Even though it was meant to point out the absurdity of the Redskins coach, many tweeples didn't appreciate his sarcasm, even creating a #CancelColbert. However, Colbert says he had nothing to do with the tweet and denied knowing who actually wrote it. And is a baby in the works for newly engaged couple Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis? Mila has been spotted running errands in LA and walking the red carpet for her new film, Jupiter Ascending, sporting a more covered-up, layered look, presumed to be hiding a growing baby bump. Although Ashton and Mila have been going strong for about 2 years, the couple became close friends while working as an on-screen couple on That 70s Show. In fact, Ashton was Mila's first real kiss at the age of 15. Although there hasn't been an official statement, sources close to the couple say getting pregnant is something they both wanted and are so happy. So how do you feel about a possible baby Kelso in the future? Let us know on Twitter by hashtagging That70sbaby. And while Ashton and Mila are taking their relationship to a whole new level, another Hollywood marriage bites the dust. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow and Coldplay frontman Chris Martin have called it quits after 10 years of marriage. The couple released a statement via Paltrow's website Goop under the heading titled Conscious Uncoupling. The couple wrote, "It is with hearts full of sadness that we have decided to separate. We have come to the conclusion that while we love each other very much, we will remain separate. We are, however, and always will be, a family." Before publishing the announcement of their split, the couple, along with their 2 children, Apple and Moses, jetted off to the Bahamas together in wake of the family's news. And that's all for Weekend Update. I'm Victoria Alanis. Back to you.
And lastly, tonight, in a city as large as San Francisco, it's not surprising that talent can be found anywhere. Reporter Nikki Peña gives us an inside look in the world of the city's street performers.
When walking through the streets of San Francisco, it is not uncommon to suddenly come across live music. That is because street performers are scattered throughout the city, entertaining people passing by.
Yes, absolutely. Like some of the junk kits, the guys have pots and pans and stuff, they get really loud. But I don't know, it's part of their art, so I can't really say anything against what they're doing.
Whether you call them starving artists or local entertainers, street performers are a big hit with the tourists that come to visit. The city's street performers are no doubt very creative.
I'm a trademark. I've been here for 20 years.
Another popular location, Pier 39, Shaba the Goldman told us why he enjoys performing.
Well, I get a lot of, happy reviews. I like putting a smile on faces, so I haven't had no complaints yet, so I'm still out here doing it.
We also found out that street performing can even be a family business.
Is there any competition between you and the Goldman?
That's my big brother.
And sometimes it's the effort that attracts crowds.
I think maybe not necessarily the music is my cup of tea, but I like watching them perform and they all get really into it. So I think that's what I enjoy more than the music itself.
So the next time you're in the city, don't forget to tip your local street performer, because you don't have to be an adult to appreciate entertainment.
San Francisco attracts thousands of tourists here every day. Street performers are a large part of the city's culture and charisma. These performances range from dancers, mimes, and even musicians. Call them what you will, these performers are here to stay, and San Francisco wouldn't mind otherwise. Here at Pier 39, Nikki Peno, State of Events.
Well, the city is indeed full of much talent.
You're so right. In fact, I have my own little performance done on Hayden Ashbury. Yeah.
What do you do?
I do a great Selena impersonation.
Oh, you go, girl.
Got you there. April Fool's Day. It is April Fool's Day.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to State of Events.
Well, make sure that you check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you next time. Bye-bye.